Hello, my name is David Webb, and this is a video for Dweebovision. I am a Scrabble grandmaster, and in this video I am going to play Scrabble while providing in-game commentary on my moves. Hopefully this will help to improve your game, and be fun to watch. The game has just started, so let's join the action. It's me to go first. Zig, I think, is the standout play. I certainly want to split up the duplicate G, and I think this is the best way of doing that. It wasn't a great rack leave, and I'm still struggling a little bit. I'm wondering if there would be an 8-letter bingo through a vowel. Certainly wouldn't be one through a consonant. Can't see anything through the I, or the A, the E, the O. Okay, nor the U. So I'm not looking at a bingo this go. But how can I sort this rack out? IT doesn't take any of the letters on my rack after it. The same with K, so I can't utilise the zag or zap hook to good effect. I don't have an eye for going in front of cat. So this is quite a tricky rack to deal with. I could play Kreng through the K. 12 points. Keeping DPT. That's pretty marginal. I'm wondering if I can play in column 7 through the ZA. So, well, I haven't actually seen anything which works in that spot. Zig doesn't take anything after it that I've got. I think I'm going to change. Or am I? This doesn't feel like a changing rack at all. But I am going to change. I can't see any good way of sorting it out. So certainly keeping ERT. Thinking about the N. But I wouldn't like to draw another N. Okay, so I draw a blank. But I still have only one vowel. Again, I'm going to consider the blank as a vowel. And I have another vowel to work with the O. So, what if my blank was an A? Can't see anything. An E. No. What about an I? Still no. And an O. Gosh, this is a bad start to the game. What about a U? Merlet, I think, is good. But I'd need a U or an E to go through on the board, and there isn't one. And Merlet may not even be good. And what about a Y? Well, I've got the LY ending. Nope, can't see anything there. Wow, this is tough. Certainly wouldn't want to miss a bingo. So what if it began RE? Or if it included term. Let's see what that looks like. No. Okay, I can't see anything, so what else can I do with this? I'm looking to see if I can place my M above the O of Dolly. And play something down onto the double word square at M3. Now, I certainly want to play off one of my R's. Well, morale is good. Morale. Certainly with the blank, I want to leave a pretty fantastic rack leave to maximise my chances of bingoing. 20 points, that's fine. Okay. I have one vowel. But do I have a bingo? Unlikely, the F and the P are not synergetic tiles. Except I have up front. And it plays above the G of Zig. And also Caillou is good, so it plays in row K. Up front, yep, the blank as an O. Do not think that takes an S after it. So other bingo opportunities on this board. I'm only 14 points behind at the moment, but my opponent is on turn. Morale only takes an S after it. Great. This is not blocked. And I don't think my opponent's provided any alternative spots for it, and I haven't seen any other bingos. Since I spent a while on the opening moves, I think I'm going to play this to stop the clock rolling down. Up front and Caillou. 82. My vowel shortage has been compensated for with an excess and no scoring tiles. So, what to do? I'm looking to see if I have a play through the F of up front down onto the triple word square at 08. My opponent challenges and loses 5 points. I've now got a 65-point lead. Now I can't see anything through that F. I certainly want to play off two of my I's. It would be nice to also play off my U. But there aren't many words with a U and two I's in them. So I'm wondering if I should change. I could play Tory I through the T of up front. Only 12 points. And it's keeping UIN, which is not balanced. Now, how many I's have been played? Only one. 13 minutes left, 60 tiles. Just looking to see if I've got anything through the V. Well now. Virino is good. 13 points. But it keeps UI, which is poor, and it's providing a lot of floaters and column 15 for my opponent. So I'm going to change again. It's quite unusual, changing twice. The R's a nice tile, I'll keep that. And I draw the second blank, which is pretty handy. Now, do I have a bingo? I'm sure I do. Segia and Morels works. But I suspect there's several with this rack. A nice one would be through the first L of Dolly, playing parallel to Morel. Well, that's just been blocked. Segia and Morels stays available. The Vug has really closed down the top half of the board. The problem with Segia is that provides a really good opportunity for my opponent in row O. So what I'm looking at now, column 12 onto the T of up front, placing a letter after WO. WO takes quite a lot of tiles after it. So I'm imagining the T of up front on my rack. Haven't seen anything yet. Okay, so Dregia would be good onto an R. I think there are very few floaters to consider, so I really am sticking with the T. Headgear is good as a 7-letter bingo, but that doesn't play anywhere. So, trying to keep mentally focused on the T. Got 11 minutes left. I'd have jiggered or rejigged through a G. Headgear is good, that also doesn't play. Well, this looks close, but I can't see anything. Well, and this looks very close, but I can't see anything. I would have pedigree through an E. Well, there's Sedgia. I'm now feeling grateful for having spotted that. I originally thought that was just my starting point. I wasn't expecting it to be my finishing point. So still haven't seen anything through that T. Right, well, Sedgia it is. This isn't too bad. Because if I'm opening the board up, if my opponent doesn't take the opportunity immediately, the advantage for using it swings to me. Sedgia 69, and my opponent would have to have an E to go after the R of Sedgia. Now I don't have a bingo, can't see a 7 or an 8, but it's, well, it's slightly balanced, 5-2 consonant vowel, and the letters are reasonably synergetic, so I should have a number of options available. Half is good, HAAF, at the moment that plays above Sedgia. I'm not sure I have a great play playable on the triple word square I've opened up. I'm looking again in column 12 to see if I've got something through the T of up front. WOF is good, but I can't see a good way of using that. I certainly want to reach the double word square at L12. And ON doesn't take any of the letters on my rack after it, so I can't play in row L. This board is quite blocked, so even if I had a flexible rack with a lot of options on my rack, I won't have a lot of places to consider on the board. So the board is quite tight. Great, my opponent only scores 20 points. I've got a 70-point lead, so I don't actually mind the board being tight. But he has taken my half spot and not provided an alternative. Well, what I can do is just do far here. The board's blocked. I don't have to unblock it. 21 points. And my rack leave is fairly balanced and I'm retaining the H for score. And am I missing something better? I'm looking in column 12 to see if I can place my F on the double letter square at H12 and run through the T of front, a word meaning fant or fart, and I can't see one. And I'm mindful of the time. I'm still half the half the game left and I've got only 9 minutes. Well, this looks reasonably balanced. I've got a couple of scoring tiles. I don't have a bingo. There is a bingo lane in row G through the U of Vug, which I hadn't really focused on before. So beginning one square to the left of the U, playing on top of IT. But I haven't got anything using my current rack. Well, that opens the board up a lot because row E is now available and there are floaters, so bingos can be played in columns 11, 12 and 13. Now the I don't have a 7-letter bingo, I don't think. No. So of the floaters, well, they're both possible. Can't see anything through the D. What about the I? I would have marathon through an A. What about an I? Well, there may be something, but I'm not seeing it, and time is short. I can do this. For 27, big score, and the rack leave is good. Now, I would have north man through something. Through an N. Okay, there isn't an N. And I mustn't forget the D and L of Dolly. But I also mustn't forget the time. Now, Ratuna would be good. Onto an R. There's no R available. This board has suddenly opened up. But my rack isn't really that bingo-y. Fairly bingo-y tiles, but the vowel preponderance, duplicate O, are counting against me. Ah, ratooned! I've got ratooned onto the D of Dolly. Fantastic. Well, I hope that stays available. That would have been a terrible miss. Can't see anything onto the L of Dolly. And I need to be sure that there isn't a 7 on this rack, although I don't think there is. Through a C I would have coronate. Great, ratoon stays available. Let's get this down. Let me get this down quickly because I am slightly concerned about the time. Good, this opens up a scoring opportunity in the top left of the board, which since I'm a long way ahead is a good thing. Okay, not a great rack. If my opponent doesn't play in the top left, I've got Jan through the A of ratooned for quite a big score, 38 points. I'm looking around to see where else I can play. Again, looking to see if I can play through the T of up front. Can't see a good way of doing that. Through an O I would have cage on, but the O's in ratooned are in the wrong place. Now I've got 7.5 minutes left. My opponent's got over 13 minutes. Still 30 tiles in the bag. So there's a lot of the game left to play. So I am going to try and pick the pace up a bit. Although, having said that, apart from Jan at D1, I have no second choice play. I'm looking to see if I've got something in column 8. Ending TA. Can't see anything. I don't have to play the J off straight away, but it is a non-bingo-y tile. Well, I was going to say I could play exactly when my opponents played Goo. I could have played JA coming down. The rack leave would have been awful, but fortunately this stays available, and I am fortunate because this is a good score and a good rack leave. That's not a good pickup. Q goes very badly with the remaining tiles on my rack. Quite a lot of I's unseen. Only one U unseen. But this isn't the sort of rack you want to be dealing with when you're short on time. So I may be looking to change again. Looking at the U's that have been played to see if any of them is available, and they're not. So I'm now looking for I's on the board. None of those are in a good spot. Now through an A I could play cat or cats. My second S isn't much use to me. Ah, well, hang on. I have got cats and cats on my rack. So I don't have to play through anything. So I could play cats and avoids, and that has a lot of merit. It takes out a bingo lane. It invites my opponent to play in column 14, which will open up column 15 for me, and it stays available. He's also provided another spot for cat in row B, but this is going to score more, and the rack leave's going to be good. I'm going to pause in case there's a better spot for this play. 36 points is a good score. Just quickly looking around to see where else cats plays. Can't see anywhere. Great. I've got an I myself for playing in column 14. I think Crivens is good with 1V. I think that's got a sticky S, which means that Criven is not good. But at the moment there's nowhere to play it. I'm looking to see if I've got a bingo through the T of up front, but that would be an anagram of Ventrix, which is not good, and can't see one. I don't think Scriven is good. I think it is Crivens. But I don't think either of those plays anywhere. I've got a good lead at about 200 points. But no matter how far you are ahead, you don't want to miss a bingo. So if I don't have Crivens or am unable to play it, I've got Van, V-I-N, in column 14. What else is there? This is quite a bingo-y rack. My opponent changes, so this is what I'm thinking of. Rack leave is good, 25 points keeps the score rolling along. I'm not too bothered about column 15 because I can either use it myself, or if my opponent uses it to good effect, he'll be opening up column 14 as a bingo lane, and this rack leave is bingo-y. Look at some of the tiles that are left. If I draw one of the A's or one of the I's, I've got a great 5-letter set. Well, I don't draw one of those, but this looks close to a bingo. But I don't think I've got one here, because I don't think Cheeser is good. Well, Reaches must be good. Yeah, I think I've got Reaches. Does that play? Yes, it does. Row B. Great. B4 across. And it plays in row M. I have some doubt about this. It doesn't feel great, but I'm pretty sure Reach is good. Something to do with Scottish smoke, but I might be imagining that. Think Reaches is good. Red and certainly are. 83 points. Is there a better spot? I've got under 6 minutes. I'm not actually in time trouble with only 13 tiles left. Do I have anything through the T of up front? Re-etches? No, don't think so. I'm going to play this. That's a pretty good pickup. There's still a good bingo lane in row B. I don't think there is a 7-letter bingo with this rack. Through an S or a Z I would have Tile Eyes. Oh, there is an S in Reaches. I have Tile Eyes if that stays available. That would be pretty splendid. Reaches may still come off the board. But I do have Tile Eyes at the moment in column 14. Can't see any other bingos on this board, but I've got a very good lead at the moment. I'm looking in row H for plays beginning zig, which reach across to... Wow. Time to stop looking for that. This is a grandstand conclusion to the game. Tile eyes 80 points. And I draw 4 vowels to dampen my ardour. I don't have a 4-letter play. I can see the tiles on my opponent's rack. He's got the X. So he should be able to score quite well. He could play Axite in row H for 60 points. But I don't think he's bingoing, which means I will have another go. I've now got a lot of time. I've got 5 minutes. So I don't have a 4. Do I have a 5? Through an R I would have Uri or Ori, and possibly a third. So I'm looking around to see where the R's on this board. Exits for 60, that's a good play by my opponent. He's now got AAO left, so he may actually not go out in 1, so I could have 2 opportunities to play. Can I get 28 points in 2 moves to get 600? Don't have an S or a D for going after tile eyes. So I may struggle. I can certainly go out in 2. I'm sure that's not going to be difficult. I hope. Looking to see if I can utilise my opponent's play of, well, his X. So Dex is good and Dux is good. So have I got anything to go to the left of that? Don't think so. That's only 1 tile and it's 11 points, so that's not great. I'm looking in column 8 to see if I got anything onto the TA. Can't see anything. Now looking at the J to see if I've got anything. So I could play 8 ATE, but that keeps IU, which is not a good pair. I've got 3.5 minutes left. Even 1 consonant would have made a huge difference. But I don't think I can grumble given how fortunate I've been with some of my plays. Some of my racks, rather. Well, I could play Sui down here. Let's see what this scores. 10 points. That retains 8 for the jar and een play. And I've also got AE in column 15, making EA, so for 8 points. It's not great. Am I missing something? Just wondering if there's a 5-letter play through the S where I'm playing at the moment. Don't think there is. Ah, now what about the row L with the fired? So I've got EA in row L. That's pretty good. £17 points. So do I have a second spot for UI? Because what I'm thinking about doing, let me just put this back. I'm thinking about playing here, EA. I'm thinking about doing it first to stop my opponent going there. He could play AA there. Yeah, I'm playing this and I'm playing it now. Because, I'll tell you when I've played it. Yeah, because there are 2 spots for my UI. I can play HUI for 7 points as well as SUI. My opponent can't block both of those. I certainly want to deny my opponent the opportunity of playing where I've just played with the EA, so I had no doubts about playing that. Now, what I need to do now is see if there's a better spot for H for my U and I. So Hui 7, Sui 10. So at the moment it's Sui for 10. I've got just under 2 minutes. I ought to be able to scan the whole board for opportunities for my IU. It's not a 2-letter word, so I'm looking for a 3-letter word or longer. And I mustn't run over time. So UI. I'm trying to scan fairly methodically from the top down. Sui I've considered, nothing else around that. Cat takes an I in front. Okay. And an I after it. Can't see anything there. Got just over 1 minute left. Okay, I'm down in the bottom sections of the board now. Yeah, I think that's it. I can't see anything. So it's Sui for 10 points. And just wait for my opponent to end the game. And when he does end it, I'm going to get 4 points on count back, so I will just scrape over the 600 mark. Great. And wow, that was a swift departure. Anyway, the final score, 283 to my opponent, 603 to me, a winning margin of 320, which is just a massive, massive winning margin. Let's see what I missed. Winning by 200 points happens a lot and can be attributed partly to rack distribution. Winning by 300 is just rare, a lot rarer, but it does happen. Now it's me to go fast. Dits for 28, problem with a good score, but a horrible rack leave. Certainly don't want to keep 2 Gs. Peasant, there was a play through ZA for 18. That would have been better than changing. And I should have spotted Zigged for 20 points, which would also have been better than changing. In fact, yeah, the top 2 moves there are better than changing. Great, I didn't miss a bingo here, and morale looks fine. Up front, only playable bingo. Awful rack. Tory eye for 12. Well, it's not a horrible rack leave, it's just not a great one, and it's not a great score, so I think changing was best. Okay, I hope I bingoed here. Well, this is where I played Sedgia. Wow, having failed to spot any of the other bingos. Well, that's poor. Fidgeter. Well, not an easy one to spot, but that would have been the right play through the T of up front. Digester. Certainly should have spotted that, also in the same spot, and redigest. Okay, well, a whole bunch of bingos I should have spotted there, but didn't. Haft, H12. Oh, well, that's through the T of up front, but without placing the H on the double letter square. Would have opened the board up. I think far for 21 is fine, given how tight the board is. Great, nothing missed here in terms of bingos. Could have played month through the T of up front. Well, I felt like I was considering that floater on almost every move. I've managed to miss the optimal move on 2 or 3 racks already. What did I do? I played for 27. Yeah, and the rack leave is fine, so that's not far off the best play. Retoons, glad to have spotted that. And fortunate that Jan stayed available. And, well, yeah, I guess Jan's at B13 and avoids was not bad as a second choice, although I hadn't spotted it in game time. Cat C13, that was my play. This is where I had Crivens, if it's a word, and It didn't play and I played Van, which looks fine. And Reach is playable at M8, that was the best spot. And yeah, this was my tile eyes play. Very fortunate to have back-to-back bingos towards the end of the game when the board is quite tight. Didn't consider playing EAU anywhere. Where's that going? In the same spot as I played EA, EAU was good, but EAU only scores 5 more points, so actually it may have been better. No, I think EAU would have been better because then I could have played XI. But to fully analyse that, I'd need to consider where the second best spot for my eye was. And finally, Sui was the best outplay. So, very interesting game. It got off to a really stodgy start. It felt like I was having, well, it didn't feel like it, I had very unbingo-y racks. They were difficult to deal with, and I changed a couple of times, and I thought this was going to be a slow grinding game because the board was, not only did I have poor racks, but the board was quite blocked as well. But I think the way the game turned out shows how a game of Scrabble can change. I didn't make any radical decisions to open the board up, but with the right tiles, suddenly the board can become open, and I was fortunate to draw the tiles to make the maximum use of that, and I wasn't expecting to score 600 points at any point in the first 4 or 5 moves of the game, and the entire game's only about 11 moves, so I think this game illustrates how dynamic the game of Scrabble is. Very unpredictable as to what the final board will look like. Good to get some bingos down. Delighted to have spotted Tile Eyes, word with a very unusual beginning, but fairly high probability, so certainly one which you should be hitting if you're studying words in probability order. So I think there was plenty to get out of that game. I hope you enjoyed watching it and learnt something from it. My name is David Webb. This has been a video for Dweebovision.